Hi y'all, this is Larry from Deep South Texas. It's May 19th and it's time to take another look at the garden. Some things are looking pretty good and some things aren't. But starting off with the things that look good, the green beans have just been phenomenal this year. I have to come out and pick these every day or two or they just get too large. And it's getting hard to find somebody to come out and pick green beans lately. So I've been doing it myself. We have harvested a lot. And it's really strange because normally green beans don't do that well for me. Looks like right now, about 1 year out of 4 or 5, I get a good harvest. And this is that year. Another plant that's been performing well for me this year is this yellow bell pepper. Just loaded with peppers. I actually would have picked these when they were green, but my wife wanted to wait till they turned yellow because they're sweeter. But just loaded with peppers. We've already harvested several of these this year, and there is still a great crop of yellow bell peppers coming on. Couldn't be happier with that. And my tomatoes, well, that's another story. They're about done for the year. You know, they're just looking pretty sad right now. They're not flowering, not putting on any new tomatoes. And the tomatoes that are still left on the vine, they're not getting big and they're really not ripening. So I think it's time to take out my tomato plants for this year and start dreaming of next year. But I gotta say, it has been a wonderful year for tomatoes this year. I harvested at least 150 pounds of tomatoes. We made 6 gallons of spaghetti sauce. We made 2 gallons of salsa, 1.5 gallons of pizza sauce, and there's one more. Oh yeah, a gallon and a half of tomato-based enchilada sauce. So we're set for this year. Couldn't be happier. Again, tomatoes are, some years they do really, really well for me, and some years not quite so well. This was a pretty good year, although they're finishing up at least 2 weeks sooner than normal for me this year. But then I planted them a couple weeks earlier. So I've harvested most of my leeks. I left about 5 or 6 in here that are a little bit on the small side, and we're going to grill those when we get a chance. The other leeks I chopped up and cleaned and put them in vacuum bags, and they're in the freezer waiting to make leek soup out of them as we have the desire. Pretty happy with the leeks this year. I've actually started some other leeks for next year over in the other side of the garden, and I just love leeks. They're great. And the elephant garlic is still growing well. I haven't harvested any of the elephant garlic yet. I think I harvested them a little bit too early last year, and so I'm going to let them go till they die back a little and see how they do this year. Looking forward to pulling a couple of those out of the ground. And onions, I've got them pretty much planted all over in the garden, and they're doing well. These happen to be Georgia sweets here. They're looking nice. This sweet onion doesn't store very well though. I've harvested most of my Texas 502s, Grano 502s. They store pretty well, but we've been using them a lot in the sauces we've been making, so not going to have a lot of storage onions. But there's other onions, 1015s planted as well, and we're going to have a lot of onions. We'll just have to use them up pretty quick this year. The banana trees, they're looking really healthy. They're doing well. They haven't produced any flowers yet. I need to go back and look at last year's videos to see when that first flower showed up. I think we're still a little bit early, but I'll go check and see how we're doing on a timeline. Had real nice bananas off of one of these trees last year. I was really impressed. My barrel of ginger and turmeric is doing well. What I thought had sprouted was the turmeric, but as it turns out, the ginger has sprouted, and still waiting for the turmeric to show up. I hope it comes up. Should be soon. So here are my pink-eyed purple hull peas. They're doing well. And my red rippers, they're also doing pretty good. These so far haven't been as productive as the pink-eyed purple hulls, but they're both growing, they're doing well, and they do well in the hot weather. This is one crop that does well in the hot weather, as well as like sweet potatoes. So I think we still got a lot of life left in them. I've been picking these every couple days and shelling them out. So pretty happy so far. I planted them early because I have sort of an insect problem with the cowpeas. Something stings into each individual bean and like plants an egg in there or something. So I was hoping that planting them earlier in the year I would avoid that, but so far it doesn't look like it. When I shell them out, I just throw out the bad beans and give them to the chickens and put the rest in the refrigerator. When I get enough, I will vacuum seal those and put them in the freezer. The sweet potatoes are looking good, growing and vining and taking over. I just have half of one raised bed planted in sweet potatoes, but they're taking over everywhere. And the wheat is starting to turn brown. Looks like it will be ready to harvest in the not too distant future. I think I certainly overseeded this bed, so we'll try again and try to be a little bit more conservative on that seed. We have some cantaloupes growing here. They seem to be doing okay in the heat. Haven't seen any little cantaloupes come on yet, but there's lots of flowers. And we've got some Carolina Reaper peppers turning red here. These are going to be interesting. Well, that's what we got going on in the garden right now. Let's go take a quick look at the new chicks and see how they're doing. So the new chicks and the older hens are sharing this new chicken run, but not at the same time. So one day we let the old hens out, and one day we let the new chicks out. And today it's the day for the new chicks. And they're kind of hunkered down back here in this in these bushes. But let's see if we can bring them out. I've got some breadcrumbs here for them. Well, they don't seem to be overly interested in the breadcrumbs. But they're getting big. I think next week we'll let both the old hens and the young chicks out in the run together and see how they do. So both the garden and the little chicks are doing fine here at Deep South Texas. Again, this is the 19th of May, and things are looking good. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.